Shut up and sit down.
Aranyak, that which belongs to the forest. A title that kind of hints towards what to expect in the series. Or does it? This is a story of how two cops in an Indian hill station, Sirona, who can't seem to agree with each other, try to solve a crime, while superstitions and politics, as usual, stand in their way. Without revealing anything else, let's jump right into the review. Direction and writing. Vinay Vaikul comes with experience as an assistant or second unit director in Amir Khan and Farhan Akhtar films. But he manages to adapt to the OTT space well, and none of the direction from these big screen movies rub off here. The CGI and editing decisions were spot on. The story needed to be told the way it was in the final product. The set designs match up well for a hill station based story, and nothing feels out of place. Charudatta Acharya and Rohan Sippy's writing works like a charm. After watching the series, if you piece it together in your head, you'll feel it was a pretty straightforward whodunit. But the writers managed to create suspense in almost layered format, such that with every part of suspense that is revealed, a new shroud is introduced to veil the truth. This part we were most impressed with. The story has interwoven intricacies of political connections, corruption, personal histories and relationships that work to keep you intrigued. But if you look closely, you'll realize it's not much different from stories we've seen before. Somehow the Pahadi trend seems to have picked up in recent storytelling, with Kathmandu Connection and The Last Star to name a few. One issue with this series though is that it doesn't know what it wants to be. There's a supernatural part to it, there's an attempt to try to be comic at places, there are scenes specifically created to send a social message, and then there's a big reveal. Something was reminiscent of 36 Chinatown. You'll know when you get there.
The blue-green tone in the final edit goes well with the story, and Yasha Ramchandani does a brilliant job and continues to impress with the recent work like Bob Bishwas, Thappad and Article 15. And a lot of the editing is also comparable to Article 15's final cut. Cinematography. Saurabh Goswami is no stranger to the OTT space, and we have been a fan of his work in Patal Lok and Selection Day. In Aranyak 2, the drone shots, the shots in the forest, some of the top shots are masterfully done and an absolute treat to the eyes. This one is definitely a sweet. The background score. The theme of the series is such that the creators could have easily swayed away by creating background scores that give us jump scares. Instead, they go for a subtle approach and make a background score that is more complementary rather than overwhelming. Just the kind of blend you would expect at the highest level in a Netflix product. A pleasant sweet. The acting. Raveena. We waited for this one like we waited for Sushmita in Arya again. We are so happy that after playing the same kind of roles against the likes of Govinda and being mostly objectified through the 90s, Raveena 2.0 has been handed a script like this. There is something missing though, probably how she carries the Pahadi accent is not the finest and random at best, but otherwise she plays the role of an underconfident cop from a hill station who is trying to make her mark really well. While this stems from comparing her to Sushmita's demeanor in Arya, we would definitely love to see a more confident portrayal by Raveena going forward. There is still just a hint of that 90s kind of acting at places, but she does well for the most part. Welcome back, Raveena.
Parambrata Chattopadhyay. This guy is the one who takes the screen time with Raveena confidently and manages to elevate an above average script to a really engaging one. No surprises there though after what we saw of him in Bulbul and in Kahani. Param's character versus that of Raveena's is a more restrained and tough one, but he cracks it like a nut. There's a backstory that plays out with each episode as well, but it doesn't feel excessive at any point. Param is tad more believable than Raveena, and this especially becomes apparent when the two share screen time in playing an unconventional cop jodi that is trying to circumvent their issues and work together. The supporting cast. Ashutosh Rana, Meghna Malik and Zakir Hussain are all well cast and do their duties as we'd expect them to. but none of their roles are anything they haven't done before. The younger cast, Tanisha Joshi and Tejasvi Dev, do a magnificent job and in many ways have outdone the veterans.
The bottom line: watch it for Raveena rediscovering herself and doing so convincingly, Parambrata's top-notch portrayal, beautifully designed sets and cinematography that are a treat to watch, and the layered treatment of an otherwise mediocre story. Don't watch it if you want to stay away from a classical whodunit and a sloppy screenplay and dialogue writing in places. We would rate this a 7 on 10 on IMDb. Delighted with your viewership, this is Views Cut signing off. Until next time.